Hello everyone, it's Barb again, your favorite longtime professional home care personal support worker, union steward, and certified member and co-chair of a joint health and safety committee. My COVID vaccine journey, part 6. The last video had me being frustrated because I was wanting to book my second dose. It came out in the news that we were finally going to be able to book our second doses before the 4 months they had given us before. I was over the moon about that. Here was the problem. We were given 2 contacts, a local public health unit and the provincial booking system. When I went on to the local public health unit, they would only book for 2 weeks. And there was never any appointments available. While me working through the night, I would wait till midnight turned over and a little bit past, and then I would go on there and it would say all the appointments were already booked. So I was thinking, what the heck is up with that? Was it a glitch? Or was everybody else thinking the same thing I was? Ah, well, there was nothing I could do about it. When I tried calling them to book an appointment, you never got a person. It would go through the whole rigmarole and then tell you to call the provincial line. I called and they said to me, oh, I'm sorry, we're not taking calls for that until June. And I said, well, it's been all over the news. We got the email from the land and they said, no, we're not. So frustration. Well, the other day I received an email from our employer saying, hey, guess what? We understand the frustration, etc., etc. And long story short, they ended up doing what they did with the first dose, which was the employer booked a block of time for us. So we called in and booked our appointment. Now, the problem for me is, I work overnight, so I sleep in the day from 11:30 to 2000 hours, and the only times were from 12:20 on. So I thought, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to work that night because it's an Owen Sound, which is almost 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. I'll allot an hour for the vaccine for any possible waiting time, but that doesn't take into account any glitches, so that's going to be too much sleep lost for me. So I immediately wrote out a leave of absence, an LOA for short, and sent it off to my nurse manager saying, hey, here's the LOA. And about an hour later, I was looking at June because I was having to do something, and then I said, oh no, June 3rd is my day off. I quickly sent a high priority email to the nurse manager saying, hey, rescind the LOA. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I don't think I'll ever live this down, because I'm very schedule and time oriented, right? I was just so over the moon. I didn't check my schedule first. I just automatically shot off the LOA, but that's okay. She got a good laugh over it. I am booked for June 3rd at 12:20. The good thing is, because I didn't need that LOA, I still have the 3 days they've allotted. So if I do have any after effects the way I've been hearing, I'm not going in expecting it, but then you never know. I'm not as young as I used to be. It may hit me, it may not. We'll just see what happens. And if it does, I have the 3 days that I can take. Needless to say, I just cannot wait for it to finally be done. Having said that, remember, I've been calling this thing all along. I may be wrong with this one, but I get the feeling that it's going to have to be a booster every year or two for a while, if not forever. I don't know. And then something else may come along, some new hell coming out of wherever it comes out of. Actually, one I'm keeping my eye on was an H5N8, which we didn't find out till a couple of months ago. In December of last year, H5N8, which is usually limited to poultry and wild birds, made the jump from poultry to humans in 7 of them. Now, they just got a bit sick. It wasn't that bad, but things can mutate and recombine, and then things can get pretty interesting. It may be nothing, but as a science nerd, I keep my ear to the ground, so to speak, for that sort of thing, because it may be the next new pandemic. Who knows? When I talk about being mentally tired about this whole thing, people say, well, then stop reading the news. That's not what does it. It's just the people not listening, etc., etc. I live to absorb that stuff because it educates me, and I can educate other people when they say, hey, I heard this, and I can say, oh yes, I read the article and this is what it said. Well, that's the reason I do that, as kind of a hobby, if you will. As I've said all along, I will film myself getting the vaccine. Do they still use that word anymore? And I will share it as it happens. So that's it for now. I'd like you to follow the directives, please. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you on the flip side.